Recently, the Woodcraft family came to visit us at the Lisa McPherson Trust. Lawrence Woodcraft and his daughters Zoe and Astra sat down to talk with Stacy Brooks.
Astra, why don't we start with your story? Tell us how you first got involved in Scientology and how old you were.
Well, when I was born and we lived in England, my mom was still an active member in Scientology. I don't think my dad was active. He didn't really want to be in it. Kind of went along with my mom. But so from as early as I can remember, we knew about Scientology. My mom would have us do contact assist, for example. Like if we got hurt, we had to say, I hit my hand on the table, I'd have to touch it back over and over and over until it felt better. These are like some of the things I remember growing up doing. And when I was about 5 or 6, she took us to an organization called St. Hill, which is the main organization for Scientology in England. And I received, I don't know, 10 or 12 hours, I think, approximately, of what's called auditing. And this was mainly the auditor, who's the person who delivers it to you, would tell me, look at that wall, go over and touch that wall, walk away from that wall, just over and over and over.
What was the purpose of that?
It's supposed to, from what I know, get you into what they say, like present time, like wake you up from being all like...
But I mean, you're 5 years old.
Yeah.
So how did you
Well, I mean, I was 5 years old and I thought this is what people do. You know, I didn't know that it was weird. And I just kind of went along with it. The thing with the contact assist where I had to touch it back, I hated that. I would just have to tell her it was better because I couldn't stop till it was better. And same with the sessions, the auditing, I couldn't stop until I said, oh, this is great, or I just had a realization.
So you mean at that
at the age
of
5 or 6, it was like, wow, that was fun. That would be my realization. I'd be able to stop. But yeah.
But I mean, at that early age, you were already learning how to pretend to be feeling better so that you could not have to do it anymore?
Yeah, because, I mean, okay, we're out shopping and I trip or something. I have to, like, hit my knee into the floor over and over. Not painfully, but do it over and over. It's so embarrassing, you know? So, yeah, I'd be like, I'd do it twice and I'd say, it's all better, it's all better. And then I'd have to be pretending that it's all better, that I'm not hurt anymore, because I don't want to be so embarrassed or made to do this thing over and over again. And it was the same with the auditing. And while I thought this is what, you know, people do, it still seemed... I didn't like it, really, but I just went along with it because, you know, my mom really wanted me to do it. She said it was so wonderful and stuff, so. When I was 7, my mom's father died, and she went to FLAG, which is in Clearwater in Florida, and that's like their highest level organization for delivering auditing. It's the most expensive, and he had left her some money, and she took that money to go and receive services from Scientology.
Do you know how much he'd left her?
Well, I know he left her a lot more in trust, but he left her like a fixed amount immediately for her to get of maybe $10,000 or $15,000. Not exactly sure. So she took that, and then she just called from FLAG to us. We were in England, and said, "I've joined the Sea Org, and you're all going to move out here." And she had already started working. She was already working there before she even told us, and we got our agreement.
And she's telling you and your dad.
And my brother, who's older, and she came back to get us, right? She came back, right, yeah, to pack us all up and take us. And what she told me is we were going for a year for a vacation. We were going to stay in a big house with a lot of people, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So that's why it was okay to go, because I would have, I'm sure, been really upset. I was already upset leaving all my friends, leaving our house, leaving my family, but I thought we were going for a year. It was like a really long, really fun vacation. But there was no intention of that. We were obviously, it was for, you know, she signed a billion-year contract, because that's what you sign when you go in the Sea organization. So that's what, you know, reality was. And we were told we were going to go to a really nice private school, that we were going to have a 2-bedroom apartment, that they'd have time off every other week, like the day off for us to go and, you know, do whatever we wanted to do, things like that. And so we all just up and moved to Clearwater in Florida. The first place we stayed was a motel that was very run down, called the Quality Inn. They kept the name. You know, they're all Quality Inn motels. They kept the name for
They
that
call
one.
it the QI.
Yeah,
now.
they call it the QI, exactly. And we got one room, one motel room, just one room with a bathroom for my dad, my mom, my brother, my sister, and I. We had my brother, my sister, and I on a 3-thing bunk bed, like 3 bunk beds high, and then my mom and my dad on a bed in the corner.
Is that common?
Yeah.
There it is.
It's common throughout
That
my...
families are living all together in one room like that? The
No,
children
and
with the parents?
Yeah, they later moved me out into a dorm, which I liked even less. Now they don't let the kids live with the parents. They stopped letting kids live with the parents, and the kids had to all live by themselves, and the parents would have probably rather had the kids with them. Or, you know, like a 2-room place with the kids in one room and them in another, but the kids were all moved out. And for about a year from what I remember, we were in this room. My brother then got recruited to join this organization. He
And
was
how old was he?
12, I think. So he was not in the room anymore, so it's me, my sister, my mom,
He
and
was
my dad.
recruited to join the Sea Org when he was 12?
12 or 13, yeah. Their entry program, like kind of like boot camp, is called the EPF, the Estates Project Force, and he was on that for a long time. It's supposed to take a couple weeks, and I remember I think he was on it for like 6 months or longer. Or maybe the whole time we were there, I don't remember.
I didn't realize they recruited kids at such an early age.
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, he was, because he went in pretty soon after we got there, from what I remember, and he was 12 when we got there, so he could have been 12 or 13. And they were supposed to take family time every evening. At dinner time, they were supposed to get like an hour to spend with the kids. My mom hardly used to ever come. My dad would come, but my mom would hardly ever come. And I don't remember her ever taking a day off, maybe one day. I think one day I remember we went to an amusement park. I'm sure she took, you know, maybe a couple or 3 days off while we were there, but I don't really remember any of it. My dad would take some time off. Then they sent my dad to work on the ship that they bought called the Free Winds.
So you didn't see him at all?
Didn't see him at all, and then didn't see my mom because she wouldn't come for family time. And she'd get home, you know, usually I think 2 or 3 in the morning.
So now how old were you at this point?
I lived in Florida from when I was 7 till when I was 9. So
And who was watching you while your
they
parents were
have
gone?
a thing called the Cadet Org, which is for the young kids whose parents are in the Sea Org. So in the morning I go to school. We didn't get sent to a private school, as promised. We went to the public school. So I go to school and then get back, and then we would do work like cleaning and other little jobs. And they had like 1 adult or 2 adults watching all of us. And then we go to bed. Well, after about a year, I got moved out of my parents' room because they moved all the kids into dorms. And then I slept on a couch the rest of the time. We were in another motel room with maybe 4 or 5 other kids. I think it was 4 kids and 1 adult lived in the room I was living in. And there weren't any beds, so I slept on a couch the whole time. And then, so after we'd been there about 2 years, my mom got transferred to Los Angeles to like middle management. And my dad, so we all moved out here. My dad took a leave of absence because he had debts, and you can't pay off your debts if you work there because you only make $30 a week.
Right.
Actually, when we were in Florida, at one point we went back to England to handle our visas. We had to go back there. And we were there for a week or 2, and my brother, my sister, my dad, actually she was too young to really know, myself, my brother, and my dad wanted to stay so badly. My dad was even saying we could work at the organization in England, just let us stay, we want to stay. I was crying because ever since I got into Florida, I would walk around crying, just crying and crying and crying and crying. I hated it. And the woman who ran the children, who was in charge of the children, was really mean. She used to yell at me. You know, I locked myself in the bathroom one day because I didn't want her to get near me. I was terrified. I hated it there so much I thought we were there for vacation.
Yeah.
And instead we're in this motel. We used to put little cockroach traps down, and in the morning there would be like 50 cockroaches in it. That's how this place was. It was like repulsive, and you know, my mom had lied, and I even knew then, you know, because I remember she said, we're just going to go, it's a vacation, we're going to live in a big house, a bunch of people, it's going to be a lot of fun, and I was so upset. And we begged to stay. We begged her and begged her and begged her. We said, we want to stay. We were crying. She said, no, we have to go back. And so we went back. So then I was in the Cadet Org in Los Angeles. And when we first got here, we were put in a 1-room, like, studio apartment that was gross.
And where was that?
This was just in, like, a building. It was just rented for us. But it was really, like, in a bad area, and it was really gross and just, like, run down. We were there for about a month, I think, and then my dad finally just went and got us an apartment.
Now, what year was this?